Testing, testing. Anybody there? Can they hear me? I don't know. Can people hear me? Let me check my channel. Let us just check. Make sure everything's copacetic. Sounds good. I'm hearing myself. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. Why do people text me when I'm just starting a stream? Hello, everybody. I need to invite. Copy to clipboard. Testing, testing, testing. Looks good. Looks good. Good. I'm hearing myself. Anybody out there? Say hello. Sounds good. Sounds good. So I can make sure that everything is working correctly. I'm just waiting for our guests to arrive. And then we will get on with the show. We got a special show today. And we will be getting on with it in just a minute. I'm just checking with my guests. Welcome, everybody. I'm Anthony K, AGK's Vinyl Life. And today we're doing a very special episode. We're going to be having a 1-hour discussion to start off, one-on-one with Mr. Nazz Nomad, David Michael. And I'm posting the invite in there, and he should be in here right now. And there's the invite. And Nazz will be coming in, and I do have a couple other guests coming in a little bit later in the stream. We do have some more guests coming in about an hour in. And but we're starting off with David, Michael, Nazz Nomad, and myself, and we have planned a discussion on a band. And I will wait for David to get in here, and then we'll get going. Just click on that link in the channel there, David. And I should turn up the volume so I can hear everybody. Testing, testing. There he is. Add to stream. And there we go.
Are we on?
We're on.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Can we handle this?
Yeah. All right.
Do we have any people in here yet? Do we? I don't know where that is.
No, there was 4 or 5.
Yeah, we got 5 people in there, so that's good.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Come on. I just started the stream. So how are you today?
Sore. I said I would do this. And
that to U2 360 tour. I have a different shirt from that concert. Is
that from me? That's from the 360 tour. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was different. It was like gray, and it had that big the logo like they had on the cover of the Blu-ray and whatnot. That.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about? That crazy logo they had for that tour.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what my one was from the concert.
I
don't have a T-shirt from our topic of discussion today, so.
No, not at all. I try to find one.
Well, look, I found a gold. I found a gold earring from a pirate costume for Halloween.
I saw that.
So, this is my contribution wardrobe wise to our discussion.
Yeah, I've got that.
Do I look like the cover of a certain album right now?
Yeah. or a pirate early for Halloween. So what's our discussion today, Anthony?
Well, as the comment in the preview said, Dave and I are getting golden, and that don't go down a dark road with that, people.
But But if anyone, hang on, if anyone is scared away by the topic, don't, because you might learn something that you don't know.
Exactly.
So, and learning,
We are here to enlighten
we're here
because
to enlighten.
we're going to be talking about a band that is pretty much overlooked, underappreciated, underrated, whatever you want to say, in North America. This band has always been huge in Europe, Eastern
Yeah.
Europe, all over the European nation. This band has always been mega huge. They wouldn't have been mega if they weren't huge. They wouldn't have made 26 studio albums. So
And I think they are the longest running band with the same lineup.
yeah, I was just looking at them before we came on, and they did have a few different people on the first couple albums, but certainly from the fourth album on,
I
their line.
think they're the long. I think from the fourth album on, which was late '60s, early '70s. I think they're still the
Like,
continuous.
yeah, I think they are the longest, the band with the longest running lineup of any band, period. Ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
To their credit.
To their credit, they've never given up.
So the band is called, and people know I talk about this band a lot on other streams, and I've mentioned them in my videos, and I know David's mentioned them many times in his videos.
A lot.
But
Yeah.
never really done and I've thought about doing a comprehensive video just for the channel, but this works out even better because we got two big massive fans to throw everything out there that could possibly be thrown out there until you guys are either sick of them or searching for them.
And if you keep this online, this will act as your
yeah, for sure.
comprehensive video.
Yeah, for sure. We'll keep it online.
So we're knocking it out of the park today.
The band is Golden Earring.
Golden Earring.
Dutch band from the Hague. Actually, they were formed in the Hague.
They were.
And the original lineup was, I'll just pull this here. The original lineup was George Koymans.
Yeah.
Very almost yodely, high-pitched voice. He was basically their singer mostly in the beginning. Franz, Jap, Peter, and Rinus. So Rinus and George were the two men that started the band. Rinus, of course, the bass and keyboard player, and then George, the guitarist and vocalist. They would eventually change their drummer and add a straight up vocalist who also played a little bit of guitar and flute to the band. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. That's my phone ringing,
Is that the band calling?
The band, yeah. They saw our
cease and desist.
Tell you guys.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with, before we start with talking about the albums, let's talk about where David first discovered Golden Earring, because I don't think he and I talk about Golden Earring all the time in private, but I don't think I ever know where, how, when, who he first discovered them and what made him become a massive Golden Earring fan. We'll start with him and see what he has to say.
Like a lot of people my age, I think everyone was this is like 1983 now we're talking.
And I think David and I are about 10 years apart, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So 1983, I mean, I think everyone was aware of Radar Love, but I was 12. But I had this thing called
Were you 12 in 73? No.
No, in 83.
12 or 83. You're 10 years from me, basically, yeah.
Yeah. So I had this thing in Canada that was very rare called MTV. We had a big satellite dish and you could get MTV. And of course, they had Twilight Zone on like microwave rotation. Every hour on the hour was Twilight Zone. And
the music video.
Yeah, the music video. And then at nighttime, they would on a show called Night Flight on the USA Network, I believe, which was another American kind of cable channel. They would show the uncensored one.
Was that before Much Music even?
Yeah. Much Music started just after that. But MTV was about 81, 82. And like I said, at nighttime, they would show the uncensored one with that girl in bed and all that. So you'd stay up late to catch the uncensored one. So, and if you're 12,
yeah,
that's the bee's knees, right?
I don't know if you're 50. That video still looks pretty good.
Well, I know it's true. So from there, I went out and got, what did I get? I think I got Cut on cassette. And then I love the whole album. But if you notice, if you remember, after Cut, I believe it was, is it NEWS?
Yes, yeah, News, Northeast West
Yeah.
Seven.
And then that
All
was in the,
which of course jumped on the fame of Cut, and it did so well too.
and I remember finding that in, you never, if you'd go to like Woco or the Bay or wherever, they would have discount bins of cassette tapes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they used to do back, deletes.
Oh yeah, the delete bin. Yeah.
And then I found, not too long after its release, I found a copy of NEWS or News on cassette, and that album made no impact here. You didn't even know it came out because there's no videos were played here, even though, was it When the Lady Smiles?
When
Was
the
on
Lady
that?
Smiles, yeah, and Clear Night
Clear
Moonlight.
Night Moonlight. Those were big in Europe.
Yeah, they were big videos on TV, but the album didn't sell like
But
the videos did.
But like then, we didn't have, obviously, we had no internet. And if you want to read about European music, you had to buy like, the NME or Melody Maker or whatever. But even then, Golden Earring and those magazines were kind of, it was a little bit sparse at best. So I found NEWS and bought that and loved it. And then I just kept on. But then after that, the whole, um, the video for Quiet Eyes was actually played a lot in Canada on Much Music.
And
So
the whole would be kind of the last album that would get released in Canada before
yes,
they left Canada again.
Yeah, they got bumped off of Polygram or whatever it was. But for a lot of people who aren't Canadian, Much Music is the Canadian equivalent of MTV. But they played Quiet Eyes a lot because the video is amazing. And to this day, it's my most favorite video ever, directed by Anton Corbijn, who's famous for photography and Depeche Mode videos and whatnot. And he made this incredibly good video for Quiet Eyes. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go watch it out.
Yeah, there were great video producers in the 80s. There were really great video directors in the 80s.
Well, I mean, their video for When the Lady Smiles is just amazing. If the full length unedited one. Once again, if I stayed up till late, I later on I saw you would see the video for When the Lady Smiles, the uncensored version with the nun getting her dress ripped or whatever, coat ripped off.
Yeah, you got to remember these were a Dutch band, and so I mean, various album covers had depicted showgirls and naked girl drawings and whatnot. Very common.
Yeah, and
no big deal in the Netherlands, and their videos were always very racy and whatnot. No big deal. In the Netherlands.
In Europe, that's nothing here, but here. So and then at the end of When the Lady Smiles, there's the dog eating the piece of brain and all that stuff. And so if you stayed up late later, you saw the uncensored versions of their videos. And then I bought the whole, obviously, and I loved Quiet Eyes. That's probably maybe my favorite Golden Earring song. But the rest of the album was kind of, even by their own,
with synthesized drums.
Yeah,
Cesar played.
Cesar is going to play synthesized drums. Give me a break.
That album, that was the only album where he did totally synthesized drums.
But even the band kind of disavows that album because it's kind of a.
Because I love it.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a couple good songs on it, but after that, but anyway, since then, Anthony, that's my thing. I've just been with Golden Earring ever since.
So when did you go backwards in their library? Because back in the day, like you said, a lot of people don't realize we didn't have internet. We didn't have an easy way to look up a band's discography. The only way I ever used to find out a band had a new album was to be walking in my store every week on release day and see it. And every time I went to the record store, I'd go to my favorite band's bins and check if you had anything news, because that or you had to buy, go to your corner store and buy rock magazines and whatnot.
And
there was no source, especially European bands. You didn't know it. Just
no,
showed up when it showed up.
If you remember back in the day, A&A and Mr. Sound and Sam the Record Man, they carried the top hits. And you look in the Golden Earring bin, to this day, you might find, you'll find maybe not, you won't even find Cut, you'll find a Greatest Hits album and maybe Moontan. And so I didn't start finding back catalog until I started going to this really incredible used record store in our city called Sound Connections, if you're from Edmonton, you know. And then you'd go to the Golden Earring bin and they'd have a whole stack of used vinyl and you could get them for like
even then the Golden Earring stuff that came into Canada was maybe, I'm guessing, a third of their catalog only ever was released North American wise. Maybe.
Well, if you work your way backwards, you had albums like Switch and
Halfway through
no,
the album anyhow, so we'll sort of talk about
yeah. So those maybe the 5 albums before Cut were released domestically, and then we get to that early '70s period, and that's what you had to really dig for, and you couldn't find here. But I had enough to go on where I could work my way backwards. And back then in '85, '86, '87, used vinyl, $5. So it was cheap for a kid to buy used vinyl and work your way backwards. And
and
that's, I mean,
going forward from the mid '80s, Golden Earring released all their stuff on CD. They pretty
yeah.
much stopped doing vinyl, and it's only until the last couple of years that a lot of these albums that Golden Earring released only on CD are finally being pressed for the first time on vinyl.
And you know what? Thank God for music on vinyl.
Thank God. And I love music on vinyl. We've talked about music on vinyl many times.
It would never happen unless because that label is Dutch. So
exactly.
Obviously they release a lot of really great music that we would never see otherwise. So
we're going to go back for all you people, and we're going to go through the catalog of Golden Earring. So we hope.
Is anyone watching? Is anyone watching this?
We hope we don't bore you, but I think they're a band that a lot of people do ask about, and a lot of people I see mention, oh yeah, Twilight Zone, Radar Love, and that's the only 2 albums they know. And we're talking 26 studio albums, 8 live albums. This is not a minor act. This is not a minor act. It's just an act that unfortunately North America has been kind of denied over the years.
And if you go to Europe, which I've been a lot recently in the last 5-6 years, like I've been to Copenhagen and all that place like that. Golden Earring are quite highly regarded, and they're talking.
Yeah, they do a concert almost every year, and people come from all over Europe to go see their concert.
Yeah, so they're very, very highly regarded. It's just one of those bands that never, other than a few hits, never really translated here, and that's probably because of their European sensibility that you and I love. That a lot of people.
Yeah. So that's David. So for me, Golden Earring started here with probably most of the people in Canada. Started with this 45 right here, Radar Love, and this is my original. This is my original Radar Love 45 that I bought back in the day. That's what started my love affair with Golden Earring.
Hang on, we're going to compare, Anthony. Hang on here.
Okay. So that's on Track Record.
So that's mine.
Track Record's the same.
And I
still have my original little MCA, whatever it is on it.
Yeah, I don't have mine right now, but that's the original Dutch version, I believe.
Yes, with the cover which I have from Record Store Day. I'll bring that up in a minute.
Yeah, and that one I'd rather have that one, but we'll talk about the originals versus reissues later.
So that was what started me, and it was backed by Just Like Vince Taylor.
Yes,
which was on the Moontan album in Europe.
Only.
The original Moontan album had this on it, but this was never released on the Canadian Moontan, and it was only as a B-side.
But it's funny, that's a big song for them live, isn't it?
Yeah, and so that was what started me, and then of course, maybe a month later, Candy's Going Bad would come on. It had the same sort of cover as this, which of course disintegrated over the years, but I still.
And what a great song, Candy's Going Bad. What a great song.
Yeah, the single version of Candy's Going Bad, and it was backed by She Flies on Strange Wings, a single mix. Which was on a previous, and I remember when this came out, I thought it was a B-side, but it turned out to have been released on a previous album that I would not know existed until probably 20, 30 years later when I realized what things they had in their back catalog. We didn't have Wikipedia or anything back then.
No, but you're talking the last 2 singles, Anthony, are like incredible double A-sides. It's not like some crappy B-side.
Yeah,
you're getting
they were all hits.
You're getting 2 hits per single, yeah.
Like Golden Earring, if you go to their website, have a massive amount of singles, the stuff they released as singles. Absolutely incredible library of singles. Whereas in Canada, we had 3-4 singles, 5 singles maybe in the whole time.
Yeah.
So let's go with we're going to go back now to the first album. I guess that's where we've got to start, right, Dave?
So I'm going to preface this. I'm going to preface this really quickly by saying I told Anthony that I've had some back stuff done today and yesterday, and I can't lift boxes, so I don't have all my albums out. I've got most of them. So we're going to, whatever I don't have out, we're going to go with yours.
Yep, works for me.
Okay.
Hi, Miss Mayhem.
Awesome.
Hi, Miss Mayhem. Nice to see you here. And so, yeah, this was their debut circa 1965. So a lot of people don't realize Golden Earring goes back to 1965. And this is, they were called the Golden Earrings back then.
The Golden Earrings.
With an apostrophe between the two R's. And the album
That's
was
right.
Earrings. And this is a Music on Vinyl reissue I have on red vinyl.
Yeah.
Red colored reissue from just a few years ago. And
so
and if I were going to comment about this album, and we'll see what Dave thinks, I look at these first couple, maybe 3 albums as very similar to like early Who, even early Stones. They were definitely following that kind of groove of that typical mid 60s kind of pop rock.
Yeah.
And they even went kind of psych. They went kind of psych before they finally went to their more hard rock roots.
Yeah.
I like this album a lot. I mean, it's very indicative of what was coming out. You know, the Who Sings My Generation or whatever. Very indicative of that kind of sound. Please Go is a really great song. That's my favorite, I think, from this album. Please Go is my favorite track from this album. So,
and actually, that's a really good comparison, early Stones and early Who, which I'm not incredibly fond of. I'm not a big fan of early Beatles. Who, what else did you say there? Who, anyways, and early Golden Earring, it's good. It's just not what we had later coming on. But that's a really good comparison.
But yeah, great stuff. Yeah. So that's their first album.
So do you have the discography in front of you?
No, I just got them all here. I've got them all piled in chronological order. So
okay, so I don't have it in front of me, and I'm blanking. Where does Miracle Mirror fit into it?
Third.
Okay.
Third. So
I wish I had it in front.
Second is Winter Harvest.
Yes.
And this is a Music on Vinyl reissue from last year on a beautiful yellow vinyl. This was their second album. I believe this had the same lineup. George Koymans.
Yeah.
Brilliant guitar player. Absolutely fantastic. One of the best guitar players of all time, in my opinion. Rinus Gertzen. I hope I pronounced these guys' names right. Rinus Gertzen, of course, bass guitar and piano. And then again we had Jaap Egermont on drums and Franz Kassenberg on vocals. Of course, these 2 guys would eventually leave come the fourth album.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm going to pull another version of this out. This album, of course, is 1967. This album came out originally in 1967.
Yeah.
And this album would get re-released in early 1970s when Moontan, which was the first album to hit North America, the first album to be stocked by stores in North America was Moontan with Radar Love. So they went back. Capitol Records went and released this album under another name to cash in on the Moontan glory. And it was the only and as far as I knew back in the day, this was the only other album that they'd released. I figured, this is like the first album, and Moontan was the second album at that time. So this album was also released under this name here. And this is a U.S. pressing. It was called Winter Harvest. This is the original cover, Winter Harvest. But in North America in the early 70s, they would call this just simply the Golden Earrings self-titled album.
Yeah, and the other one is what I was familiar with. That one, because that one you can find in these record stores.
Exactly. And it had the same track listing minus 2 songs. The very first track, Another Man in Town, is not on this one. And Happy and Young Together from this album is not on this. But other than that, it's the same album. And
isn't that weird?
This one has got to be the very last song on side 1 and side 2 are my favorites from this album. Whichever.
Isn't that weird how they played with the track listings in North America and Europe?
Yeah, crazy. And this, of course, was on. Look, and it was on was the only Golden Earring album to be pressed on that orange and gold Capitol label.
Yeah, because the one
very strange.
And the one coming up, I'll show you, is on Capitol. Is
pressed on. It was on a Polydor, Red Bullet, which of course were the things that all the Golden Earring albums eventually were on Red Bullet. Polydor in Europe.
Yeah.
So, do you have any particular favorites? What your impression of this album?
It's not my favorite, I'll be honest.
It has moments. Like I said, there were 2 songs.
It has moments.
I liked. I actually just spun that while I was getting them all out today and setting up. I spun that album.
I wish I had time because obviously I was out, but I wish I had time to spin through them. But the early Golden Earring albums, I have to be in a mood for, and I have to be in the right mind frame, and because it's like I said, it's early Who and early, Kinks and early Beatles. It's very indicative of the times, and I think that's what you had to do to make it. And once they
Now,
once
you
and once
have, I believe, Miracle Mirror on LP.
Yeah, I'll show that. But like I was saying, but once a lot of those bands had kind of made it where they felt safe to experiment, that's when you really saw Golden Earring come into their own. But number 3 is Golden Earring Miracle Mirror. Sorry, make it this right here. And this is the American only cover. And as Anthony found out for me, because if you look, it's embossed with free. And this was property of I bought this in London last year. I paid a heavy penny for it, but this was a WRHA radio in somewhere in the US. This is a radio station. As Anthony found out, this was never released commercially, apparently. It was just given out as promo.
Given to radio stations in the US apparently to try and promote Golden Earring in the US.
And hence why the free stamp on it. Because there was all demos for
the original cover. I only have it on CD.
And that's a label which is very indicative of late 60s. The Capitol Rainbow label.
Again, yeah.
And
who was picking up Golden Earring on those early albums in the US.
Yeah, and then they quickly abandoned them after that. I guess they weren't happy when, and then I guess when Moontan came out, they kind of ate their hats on that one. But is that the nice CD pressing you have from the box set?
Yeah, that was the pressing from
the
26 disc box set thing.
Yeah, but this album is when they think they started to turn that corner.
Yeah,
if you look at the back, it's very
psych.
It's very psych.
Become very psych.
It's very psych, and that's when they started to turn that corner, I believe, to stop, to kind of differentiate themselves from other UK bands at that time who were kind of, doing the "She Loves You, Yeah, Yeah" stuff.
And that would be the last album with that current lineup before they imported their next member, who would of course stay with them for the next 50 years.
Yes, a very important member. Very important member.
So that was album number 3. So album number 4, I don't know if you want to pull yours or I can pull mine. I got mine here.
Let's see. Which ones are you going to pull out?
Album number 4. And this, if you look very carefully, they took the off. The first 3 albums were the Golden Earrings. Now the disappeared and they became just Golden Earrings.
Okay.
So they dropped off the title. And this was called on the double. And the reason it was called on the double is because it was a double album.
Yes.
It was a full-length double album.
Which was very rare back at the time.
Very rare. Big to take for a band like that to make a double album. Big chance.
Yeah, and this is where Barry Hay comes in.
And you've got the newer repress with the colored vinyl. I've got a 2012 music on vinyl press, which is just
this is I think this is red vinyl, isn't it? Red, limited of 1,000, kind of like an album we're trying to get right now, limited of 1,000.
Can you open? Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
But you know what? If I could just kind of back up a little bit, and I'll make this really quick. And I mean this for a lot of bands, but especially Golden Earring.
Beginning of the nakedness with Golden Earring, right here on the gate.
Yeah, let me open this up here. Yeah, see, there you go. Very European.
It's your Europeanness there.
There you go. Look at that. Awesome. I love this album, by the way.
It's a great album. It's a lot of psych. It's got a real mixture of stuff on it. There's some folk on here. There's psych. There's rock. There's one song on here called, the very first song of
a Devil Servant. Yeah. There's some really weird songs on it, like Pam Pam Poop Poop Lou.
Yellow.
So,
all right.
But yeah.
Okay. Can I just give you a shout back a little later?
Okay, so I'm filling time here. All right.
Yep, bye. Sorry, I had to call. That was Rick's Recollections, the record store, letting me know he wanted to call and tell me what came from the record store day.
Oh, I'll talk to you
Uh,
offline about that.
I was
But
saying, Song of a Devil's Servant would be the first song of a few songs that Golden Earring would re-record on later albums. So the version of Song of, what would I say? Song
Songs of
of a
the
Devil
Devil Servants
would appear on the very next album. A completely different recording would appear on the next album after this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And of course, this was the import of vocalist, rhythm guitarist, or I guess six string. He didn't do much guitar. Guitarist, flautist, because he played flute.
Yeah.
And I wish he played more flute on their albums, but he hasn't.
He did at
flute.
You know what? When he did flute, he did it very well.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
It fit the music. And Anthony, if I could have 30 seconds.
Absolutely.
I need to say something really quickly, and I was about to say it earlier, but this goes for a lot of bands, but with Golden Earring especially, there's no cool points for owning original copies. The music on vinyl pressings, I would trade every original version I have for a music on vinyl pressing, because that is how good they are. So I mean, I do have originals of albums coming up, you'll see, which are rare, but I don't care about that. It's the quality of the music, and get the music on vinyl once they're available. They get reissued every 4 or 5 years in different colors and variants. So they're easy to find and they're worth the price. So
absolutely, I totally agree.
That's all I want to say about that. Reissues on the music on vinyl. They use the original master tapes, and that's what I say. There you go.
Yeah, the press from the original analog master tapes, which is great. Up to a point when of course they started recording digitally, but all the 60s, 70s, and halfway through the 80s stuff was all recorded on analog master tape.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the member that would join that band at that point would be Barry Hay. Barry Hay would become their lead vocalist, the voice that you recognize very much on songs like Radar Love and Twilight Zone.
And
actually, Twilight Zone traded vocals between George and Barry.
Yeah, so you can hear, you mentioned this earlier, but you can hear George on at least half of Twilight Zone. Good vocalist. He can hit those high notes on that.
Yeah, I think the interplay between George and Barry was great too, because they would trade off vocals. George had such a very high voice. I mean, yeah, George had a very high voice and Barry a much lower voice. So the two voices would make quite a startling trade-off in singing, in the vocals.
Oh yeah.
So after On the Double, we're now 4 albums in. Amazing, their 4th album was a double album.
Yeah.
And
a lot of balls to do that.
So we had the Golden Earrings 3 times. Their 4th album, they called themselves just Golden Earrings, and they dropped the. But then the next album, they would pick up the again and drop the S and called themselves the Golden Earring. So
yeah,
they were still trying to figure out their name. And this was their 5th album, which is a masterpiece for me.
Okay, so we're not. Yeah.
High. And yes,
I want to talk about
that is 8 Miles High, the Bird song, 8 Miles.
And I'm glad you put that one up now, because I do want to talk about that one.
Absolutely.
Because I said, I think at the end, I think offline, I said, we wanted to talk about our favorite ones at the end, but the version of 8 Miles High on here. This is probably the only music on vinyl one I haven't got yet, actually.
Yeah, this one I have on, that's a standard black music on vinyl from 2012.
This is some kind of early German pressing with the gold polydor. But anyways, regardless of that, 8 Miles High covers all of side 2. And it is a masterpiece.
It is absolute masterpiece, yes.
Of a side 2. Like, they take that song and they take it into areas that you would never think. It's just, it goes on and it's beautiful and it's incredible. And even side 1's amazing too. Yeah. With Song of a Devil Servant again.
Yes.
But
the new and improved version of Songs of a Devil Servant. Landing, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
The whole album was great. One huge ode, Every Day's Torture. But of course, that 18-minute 8 Miles High on side 2 is the best version of that song anybody's ever recorded.
I could listen to that song on repeat, Anthony. It's just that brilliant. And if I have to say, if there's one Golden Earring album that is out there for you to discover, that's brilliant. 8 Miles High.
Agreed. And it's
So
funny, this album, I didn't know when I talked a few minutes ago about, I'd got Moontan was my first album after the two singles. And then after Moontan, I found that other one, The Golden Earrings, with the girl on the cover, the American thing. It was
yeah,
shortly after that I discovered this. I was working at Sam the Record Man at this point,
yeah.
and I discovered this in the import section of Sam the Record Man. So it was like, oh, they have another album. When did this come? Oh, this apparently came out before Moontan and that other album.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I saw it in the import section at Sam's. It was pricey because back in those days, imports were very expensive. You know,
very.
import was like $30, and $30 in mid 1970s was a lot of money for an album.
Anthony, I remember paying $20 for import cassettes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's, I mean, they were, imports were expensive.
So I never got it, and I was working at Sam's and I saw it and I was like, oh wow, there's another Golden Earring album I don't know anything about. So it's like, oh, apparently there were two albums before Moontan. When actually
Hmm.
we learned many years later there's 8 albums before Moontan.
But yeah,
but this one I never bought that import, and it sold very quickly, and it never came
yeah.
to the stock, and I shot myself in the head repeatedly for never buying it
And
until a few years ago, right?
I think that's kind of the pinnacle of their psychedelic, when, 8 Miles High and stuff on that. I think that's kind of when they put it all together, and they really found their sound, which then
Absolutely.
which they kind of added on to later on albums that we'll come up to, and I'll talk about that too, as I'm sure you will as well. But that album is just, anyway, Anthony, they did psych, hard psych better than most bands that people prop up as geniuses and the cream of the time. They did it
Absolutely.
better. They did it way better than most. This is that people having the opportunity to do. People haven't had the opportunity to hear them. But all bias aside, 8 Miles High put up against any psych album, and it's in that, to me, it's in that top 10
For sure.
always.
I agree. I totally agree. It's the first of all those ones we showed. It's the first that I just absolutely love, beginning 10. I mean, I like On the Double too.
Yeah,
But On the Double is like a collection of all sorts of styles, whereas 8 Miles High it's got a flow. It's just a workout beginning to end.
8 Miles High, when I first heard it, it was like a punch to the head, and my mouth was just open the whole time. Like, what have I been missing?
Yeah, because the first time I heard them perform 8 Miles High was their first live album where they perform it live. And I'm
Yeah,
like, they're doing the eagle, they're doing the birds, 8 Miles
yeah,
High. Holy crap. And then it would be shortly after that live album that I would see that 8 Miles High in the import section that I should have got and never did, and
yeah.
regret it. And so all I had over the years to know was the live version that they did of 8 Miles High.
This is amazing. Yeah. So, I mean, if anyone wants to investigate early Golden Earring, apart from Moontan, you can find this CD or used vinyl in most good used record stores. Get 8 Miles High, stream it. I don't care. It's you need to hear it. That's all I'm going to say.
Exactly. So then comes late 1969, and four of the band would be finished getting as far as band member changes go, and they would
Yeah,
have Cesar. And don't ask me to pronounce his last name because to this day I still can't pronounce
I
his name.
can't either. He says already me, and he's probably the most amazing drummer.
I put him
He's
as one of my top 5 drummers of all time. If you
he's
do,
absolutely
you
top
need to
5.
watch him in live. It's
Oh,
unbelievable.
the guy's crazy. He's insane, and he's easily top 5 in like all time.
So at this point, we would have the original members: George on vocals and guitar, lead guitar, Rhinus on bass and keyboards, uh, Barry Hay on vocals and flute, and then they would of course get Cesar on drums, and that would complete
So,
the foursome. And that would be late 1969, and
and
they would
that's
be
the lineup
together. They would
to
be
this
get
day.
would stay together for the next 50 years, even releasing a 50th anniversary single in November 2019 to celebrate their 50 years together,
Which we both have.
which we both have, which we'll get to.
Yes.
So 1970 would be the first album by the foursome,
Yeah.
just simply finally changing their name from the Golden Earrings to the Golden Earring, finally changing their name to just Golden Earring.
So
And
this
their
is
self-titled album, which
and
fans actually
call Wall of Dolls.
Which they call Wall of Dolls, exactly. Most fans call this album Wall of Dolls because of all the creepy dolls on this wall. And this apparently is a real wall somewhere.
Yes.
Somewhere in the Netherlands or The Hague or somewhere. This is a real wall that exists with all
And
these creepy dolls attached to it.
This was my when I went to Europe a few years ago, Anthony. I went there with a list of records, and this was number one on my most wanted list. And then I couldn't find it, and then I go to Prague, and I found one in Prague, or whatever it's called now. I should know this, but that's where I found this one, and I'm thinking about selling it to get the music on vinyl version because this is one of my favorite albums as well.
Yeah, this album, another kick-ass album. This is the music on vinyl from just a couple years ago, and it's on this kind of brown marble vinyl that matches kind of covers.
I wonder if mine is capable too. I can't remember. Hang on. Oh yeah, and it's the very glossy kind of floppy European covers at the time that mine. I'm trying to remember where mine's from. Germany, maybe.
Once again, a beautiful pressing from Music on Vinyl on this kind of it's kind of a marble finished brown.
Yeah, and mine's on Polydor.
And that was this, of course, had brilliant songs on it, like Yellow and Blue, The Loner.
Yeah.
Oh, and on this album, Big Tree, Blue Sea, one of my all-time favorite Golden Earring songs, which was on, and which is an interesting thing because Big Tree Blue Sea, back home was a big single from this. Big Tree Blue Sea would appear on the Canadian version of Moontan, but the version of Big Tree Blue Sea on the Canadian version of Moontan a couple of years later is a completely different recording. 100%. It's like this the song of the devil's, whatever, Servant's Kiss. And you will only find that recording of Big Tree Blue Sea on the Canadian Moontan. They have never released it anywhere else ever. Even on that the box sets they released a couple of years ago of all of their albums and B-sides and rarities, you cannot find that song. It was only released on Moontan, and I love that song. But the original version of that song is on this album right here.
Now, would you agree they're starting to implement some slight progressive sounds on here?
Yeah, I would think this is the start of their progressive age because Golden Earring has always kept up with the times. They have never stayed the same sounding through the years. Always tried to stay current with whatever the sound is of the year, rather than.
But in this era,
this is where you got lots of long songs. The long songs.
But they did it very well. They experimented with what was going on at the time, but they did it very well. They didn't do it half-ass.
Oh, absolutely. Brilliant musicians. This would be their proggy beginning for sure, which would carry, I guess, through about 4 albums.
Yeah,
maybe.
About that. Yeah.
4 albums. This sort of sound.
Mm-hmm.
The Wall of Dolls, 1970. Then came this album here, 7 Tears.
Oh, where's my 7 Tears? Hang on there. Hang on here. Mine are slightly out of order, but this is my music on vinyl version, which you have.
Same, which I think is kind of green, isn't it? I'll open mine. You don't have to open yours.
Yeah, and then I have an original one too, which, like I said, I'm going to start selling these original ones because the music on vinyl ones are the first and last word that you need to hear on Golden Earring records.
Very proggy once again.
Yeah, it's very, very proggy and very wonderful. This is in my top.
This one had like a booklet inside, like glued inside the cover was one of those, which they did back in the 70s sometimes, would be a booklet. And look at these guys rock. On stage. And I don't know if David ever saw them live, but it's funny, they're my favorite band of all time, and I never saw them live.
I've never seen them.
Came to Canada.
And it's like, I wish I could time a trip. They play so infrequently, and usually in Holland. I would love to time one of my European trips to go see them, but it never meshes. So, but 7 Tears is definitely in my top 5.
Yeah, and it had brilliant songs on it. Silver Ships, The Road Swallowed Her Name.
Yeah.
But the song that we were talking about before, that was a B-side of Candy's Going Bad, was the single from this album. She Flies on
Flies on Strange Wings. Yeah.
Was the
Is
big song
yours?
of the album, which was like an 8-minute song on the album, but they hacked it in half.
Yeah, I know.
They literally hacked it in half. Like it just fades out in the middle of the song. It
I know.
fades out in the middle of the song on the single, but it
That's,
actually is like an 8-minute freaking song.
but you know what? That's fair enough to make a radio edit because they were trying to, the record company was trying to break them here. But I think by that time they were on MCA
Yeah,
in
there's no
North
other way
America.
probably to mix that song. So the easiest thing to do would be to just to break up, cut off the last half of the song, because the song actually changes key and goes into a different thing for the last half of it.
Which is brilliant. But is Moontan their first MCA album? In North America?
Yeah, it is.
Because I think that's the end of the Polydor in North America. Polydor had enough of trying to break them, I think, which is sad and unfortunate. But then they showed them wrong with Moontan, but which we'll get into that.
So all of these albums we've been showing so far never saw the light of day originally when I was a kid here in Canada. None of the albums shown so far.
No,
like I said,
never saw them.
Yeah, 8 Miles High was the only one that I saw, like I said, years later in the import section. But everything else never saw the light of day.
And you have to remember, Anthony, that this is like
one more, and even one more.
Yeah, and since '84, I've been checking the golden earring section of every used record store. Every time I go into a used record, which is thousands of times, and I've never seen that period of records.
And never came to our shore. Never came to our shore. All these records.
And there's still
one more to go, and that one, this one here called Together. Once again.
Oh, okay. Hang on here.
This was right before Moontan.
I have to make sure that I don't know if I have the music on vinyl one for that one.
Yeah, you did. You did.
I did?
Oh, you did, because we all ordered them together.
Did we? Hang on. Hang on.
Oh,
I do. Oh, yeah, it's in a box. It's in the box I can't access, but this is my original copy.
And this was a lime green marble.
And I found mine in London last year.
Yeah, I remember when I ordered this one, 7 Tears Together, I kept telling you, there's 2 albums, David, I need Miracle Mirror and Together. I hope they release Together. And then they finally released it. And
I'm going to
sell. I already have it, but I'll probably order it anyhow.
I'm going to sell my originals whenever I take them down to used record stores and get the music on vinyl pressings, because I want that clarity of sound. I don't need surface noise, which any original copy is going to have. You can't avoid it. Anyways, your impressions of this album, sir?
Avalanche of Love was great on this.
Yes.
Watcher Buddy Joe was a big
single. Buddy Joe that's a staple of their live sets to this day.
Buddy Joe and Jangaline are both staples.
Jangaline.
And they were huge hits over in Europe.
Yes. Jangaline is a favorite of mine, and Buddy Joe is also a favorite of mine.
So that would be the last of the albums that never saw the light of day here in Canada. When I was young. All those albums. We're talking, how many albums? 8 albums. I'm pretty sure it's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 albums that never saw the light of day before Moontan.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Crazy. It's a huge catalog. I mean, some groups only have 8 albums. But
some of these, you know what, Anthony? Some of these revered bands that they talk about, I was talking about earlier, that people think are, they've done better psych albums or whatever. They've never made 8 albums. They couldn't keep it together for 8 albums. But you get this band who's been together for the same lineup for 50 years. And I don't know what's in people's. I mean, there are people in the know. We're not the only two, because their limited edition pressings sell out right away. So there's people who love them like we do. But the general consensus in North America is there are 2 songs. They only have 2 songs, and they don't investigate those first 8 albums, which are amazing.
Yeah, and then I guess as far as my collection goes, there's a few at that point before Moontan. In other parts of the world, they were already 8 albums in, so they were already starting to release compilations of their music.
Yes, and there's lots of them.
This is a more recent one. This is actually on 10-inch vinyl. This is a double LP on 10-inch vinyl.
That golden earring cat one. Yes.
Golden earring cat one, and it's basically a best of their early albums again. We're talking, you know, everything from about On the Double to Together, from that period when when Barry Hayes was a band.
Yeah, I will say there's
double audio file 10-inch.
Yeah, there's lots of those early compilations that Polydor ended up putting out once Radar Love hit big, and you can find a lot of those.
There was Hearing Earring.
Yeah,
Hearing Earring, which
there's lots of them.
This was put out by Track Records, and it was actually a comp only made up of Together, Seven Tears, and I think there was one song from Wall of Dolls. And the interesting thing is on this one, I don't know if you guys can see, but you see all these little dots in here. I don't know if you can catch them. The back cover was in Braille, so all the track listings are written in Braille,
which is very clever, isn't it? Yeah.
Hearing, Earring, and they wrote the things in Braille on the back cover.
I think it's funny because I have a Track Record compilation called
the old Track Records label. Look at that, the old black and white Track Records label.
I don't think I can grab it right now, but I have a Track Records compilation called All Sorts, which is all early Track Record stuff, and some of things are in Braille as well. But there you go.
There was that, and just trying to keep things organized here. Then there was this, which was a series put out by the old Polydor.
That's the one I have. That's one of the ones I have.
Once Upon a Time. This was a series that did a lot of different bands. This company was releasing comps of all sorts of bands. And this was a double LP comp that went through pretty much all of the early 8 albums.
And that's a good one. If you can find that one, that's a really, really good one.
Yeah, it's a double LP. If you don't want to invest in all of those 8 albums, there is nothing from 8 Miles High on here, I don't think, if I remember right.
I don't think so.
There might be one song, certainly not the 8 Miles High.
No,
but a real good retrospective of the previous 8 albums.
That's the one I recommend.
Artwork. I mean, almost looks like Roger Dean type artwork, you know?
Yeah. But those early compilations, especially that one, everyone. If you're watching this now, I don't know if anyone's watching this, Anthony.
Yeah, we got 15 people watching right now.
Hello everyone. But if you're gonna watch this on
Hey Jack's Track, hey Christopher, Miss Mayhem, Robert from On My Turntable, we're gonna be having you on a little while. Hi Beetle Boy. And my last comp from that period. Well, this actually goes forward a little bit too. There's one here called Rock, the Greatest Rock Sensation, Golden Earring. And this one's really good. And it's on some bizarre record label called Carousel. Yeah,
Carousel did budget compilations. And
but the sound of this is really good. It even has these freaking angel
sleeves on them.
Sleeves. And the thing that blows my mind about this, I don't have any other album in my collection. This thing runs approximately 33 minutes per side.
Yeah, which is well over what the 25 or so minutes.
33 minutes per side, and I don't think there's any sacrifice in sound quality, in my opinion. And this actually covers most of their stuff from On the Double into Moontan and the next album. Into the next album, The Switch would be featured on this one as well.
So I think you'll agree that if you don't want to invest in those 8 albums, pick up one of these compilations because it's a good toe in the water to see if you do like it or that early period.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
all
right. Are we going to
break up? We're
going to break up the big one.
We're going to the big one.
Let's do. Could we do the Canadian one first, and we can explain the difference? Absolutely. I think you can explain the differences better than I can right now because I'm.
Yeah, you show the Canadian, and I'll show the European. That'll make life.
Okay, so this is the one that everyone grew up with. This is the one you see in 1,000. To this day, you'll find this in budget CD bins because Universal, you can buy these for $5. And every budget CD bin ever is Moontan on MCA Records. This is an earlier MCA Records or a later MCA Records one. I have a few, but I just kept my most pristine one that I have is that one. And
does this look
this is the one. What's that? Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! And my damn holes closed up decades ago. You were smart. You were smart. Oh, is it? You smart ass. I thought it was real. I'm like, oh my god, that guy's got some balls there.
I got that man much balls.
Fucking guy. But this is the one we all know and love. Radar Love. What else was on this that was big? There's hang on.
Well,
On the Canadian one.
We can do a side-by-side comparison on that one.
Well, Candy's Going Bad and Vanilla Queen. Vanilla Queen. Okay, 9 minutes and 20 seconds of brilliance. Anyway, I'm going to let Anthony talk here because Anthony's going to talk about the difference here. I'll keep my track listing up on this one.
Yeah, because we're going to go through it. So this is the original European version. This is a Music on Vinyl reissue.
This is Record Store Day. Isn't yours Record Store Day?
I just have the standard 2012 pressing, but same company, Music on Vinyl.
The only difference is mine is turquoise vinyl.
Mine's just standard black. But
who cares? It's the album,
original cover. There you are, for Miss Mayhem, or if she's still watching, there you go. Got some naked male bum there.
Yeah. But original copies of this still go for a lot of money.
She is the Vanilla Queen. The song Vanilla Queen is about this showgirl. So
and is that
the Vanilla Queen?
I'm sorry,
the interesting thing about this is the track listing, and we just without.
Or is it also, Anthony? Is that Barry Hay in the middle?
Yes,
backwards?
That is Barry Hay posed for the inner picture.
Wow, that guy was fit as hell. Fuck, I feel insecure now. Damn, that's a nice ass for a guy.
So this one came out before the North American one, quite a time. I think it's almost a year before it showed up in North America. So if David holds up his version of Moontan, I'll read off the track listing, and you'll see how much they played around with the track order between the Canadian Moontan and the original European Moontan.
Yes.
So side one, we had Candy's Going Bad. First.
Yeah. First?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Radar Love. Well, obviously, Radar Love is first on this one.
Because they're pushing the single. So then second after Candy's Going Bad, track number 2 would be Are You Receiving Me? Which would be the
5th track on this one.
The closer of the album.
And there's only 5 tracks on this one, on the whole album.
Yeah. So Are You Receiving Me would be pushed all the way to be the album closer on the Canadian version, whereas it was the second track on the original.
Yeah.
Then the third and fourth track, or at least the third track. Then the third track on the original is a song called Susie Lunacy,
which is not on this one.
Never appeared on this version of Moontan.
Yeah.
And then we get into side 2, and the beginning of side 2 was Radar Love, which I believe on the Canadian one was Big Tree Blue Sea, the one I was talking about.
Yeah.
Following Radar Love was Just Like Vince Taylor, which was not on the Canadian. Like I said, it became a
which is totally bizarre. Why not? But
yeah. So basically, if you look at the running time, Susie Lunacy and Just Like Vince Taylor were approximately 4-minute songs, which would together would be replaced by the 8-minute Big Tree Blue Sea.
Yeah.
Then closing the original album was The Vanilla Queen, which is one of their best songs they ever recorded, hands down, period, in their top 5 songs they ever made.
It's like I said, it's over 9 minutes of just brilliance.
Brilliance. So Vanilla Queen would finish the album here, but would be the side 1 closer on the Canadian version. So
Are You Receiving Me? Yeah.
Drastic difference between the 2 albums, and I think anybody that wants Golden Earring should have both versions of
yeah. But if you look on this is a later MCA pressing, but it's certified platinum from the RIAA
album. It was their
in North America.
Their next platinum selling album would be Cut.
Yes. But this was a platinum selling record. And you know what? It still sells and sells and sells because of Radar Love, obviously. But the best track actually on here, in my opinion, sorry everyone, is Vanilla Queen. Maybe I'm just tired of Radar Love or getting burnt out on it or have been burnt out on it.
Oh, but that song. But that song was one of the best songs to drive.
It is. You know what, Anthony? I'm trying to stay away from talking about that song because that's what people know about. But that's
so we're kind of just gloss over that because everybody knows that song. So.
But Candy's Going Bad.
Song on that album by far, not the strongest song on that album by far.
No, but if you look at side 1 in the Canadian version, like MCA and Track knew what they were doing. They front loaded this album. Radar Love, Candy's Going Bad, and Vanilla Queen.
Yeah.
Is there a better side 1 for a Golden Earring fan? No.
That's one of the greatest side 1s in history as far as I'm concerned.
It's 3 songs of just excellence.
Prog at its finest.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
So from there, we would move to and that was 1974. So now we're into 1975, and we're looking at Switch.
Oh, okay, awesome. Give me a second here. Like I said, mine were
never been reissued, which I wish somebody would remaster it and reissue it.
Oh my God, there's a couple coming up that have to be reissued because I'm getting very angry. You can find these ones. I can go to there's an antique mall in my city, and they have like 3 copies of this. So, and this one isn't hard to find. It's finding a good audiophile type pressing of this album because I love this album. I think it's one of those ones like 8 Miles High that's out there to be discovered for people.
Absolutely.
It's an absolute Kill Me Ce Soir.
Because Kill Me Ce Soir is another brilliant song.
I mean, Iron Maiden covered that song. Did you know that? That Iron Maiden covered Kill Me Ce Soir?
Yes, Iron Maiden covered Kill Me Ce Soir on a single.
Yeah, on a B-side.
B-side.
But this album is just, like I said, it's one of those hidden treasures. You can get it for $5 anywhere, any used record circus.
Remaster and reissue.
And it sold a lot of copies.
Buy off Discogs a few years ago from that guy in the U.S. that does really nice. And this is an original first U.S. press, and it's
like the Hot Stampers.
And yeah, and it sounds sweet. It sounds sweet. The cover's faded and
yeah,
but the vinyl's mint in here. So
well, who cares what the cover? It's the vinyl.
I want MOV to re-release this.
There must be some kind of rights issue or something because
must be stopping them. But it was on MCA as well, so it's really bizarre.
Yeah, and there's a couple albums coming up that we're going to talk about why there hasn't been reissues. I don't understand if it's Switch sold a lot of copies because it came off the back of
Moontan. Yeah, so this was
Moontan.
Second album to appear in Canada in the run.
It's easy to find
in Canada. This would be number 2.
Yeah, and also everyone, just so you know, there's a lot of full concerts on YouTube from this era that are really high quality that I recommend that if you want to get into the live stuff. There's a lot of really good concert material out there, but Switch is up there with some of my favorite albums by them.
Absolutely.
All right.
So next we've got To the Hilt, which was also
awesome. Sorry, I'm excited we're into this period because it's a highly underrepresented period.
This was a proggy period. This was a great period.
Yeah, and you have and I'm going to tell you something. You have the MOV version.
I have just the standard black vinyl MOV version. Yeah, the 2000.
There's that version at a record store that's been sitting there for 5 years, and I haven't bought it yet. I'm going to have to go down and buy it because that's out of print. And there's still
the gatefold there.
Yeah, mine is just a regular Canadian.
It's easier for you to get your gatefold out of me unsealing this one.
No, there's no gatefold in mine. Is this an American version? Oh, sorry, this one is an American version.
That must be a repress if there's no gatefold.
It has an insert.
Yeah, that could be a repress.
Oh no, it's one of those ones that was previously released but the cover's by Hypnosis, who did a lot of Pink Floyd covers.
The MOV version, of course, recreates the original glossy cover, as you can see. To the Hilt is great because we had the guy on the railroad tracks and the chains. On the back,
actually, mine's a
block of cement with the shark, and then on the inside, we had him here and here.
Yeah, so that's the back of mine, and mine's actually an early MCA pressing.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, like I said, this is one of those ones that was done by Hypnosis, who did Pink Floyd covers and other bands.
And again, some really long proggy songs on here. Latin.
Yes.
If you can read the track listing on that, because I just put mine back away. So.
Oh, there's Why Me, 7 minutes. There's Face Dancer. There's To the Hilt. There's Nomad. There's Sleepwalking on side 2. Latin Lightning and Violins at 10 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, I hope another great prog masterpiece for sure.
Yes.
So we should move faster here. I think we're going a little slow.
We should move on.
So next up after that would be their first live album.
Yes, live. I think I have. Yes, we do. It's okay. I don't know what you think.
Good live concert. I think the performance is hands down fantastic. All the songs on here are like, 10 minutes long. I swear. Like,
Yeah,
there's not very many songs. It's a double LP with like, 8 songs.
I thought it was better than second live, but because you get the
Yeah,
track listing is pretty
second live.
amazing. But yeah, so that's their first live album.
So that's their first live album with Candy's Going Bad, She Flies on Strange Wings, Mad Love's Coming. Oh, I missed an album. Oh, wait. We missed an album.
We missed. Uh-oh.
Missed an album. Back up. Mad Love.
Anthony, we missed Mad Love.
Yes, Mad
Hang
Love.
on.
Do you have Contraband there by any chance?
I do, which is the fun
version. It's another album like Moontan where they had a different same album.
Same album.
David's showing the original cover, and it was called Contraband in Europe, but here we got it later and it was called Mad Love. Polydor
released it as Contraband. Is the track listing. Now you can go through the track listing.
There's one song on the Canadian version, once again, that never appeared on the European version.
Okay, so I'll read off my track listing on the European one on the Contraband is Bombay's #1.
Which is first song on side 2 here.
Yeah, there's Sulene.
Sulene, which is the second song on side 1 here.
Yeah, and Con Man is #3.
Which is the third song on side 2.
Yeah. And one of my favorite songs of all time on side 2 opens with Mad Love's Coming.
Which is the closer. Again, a stacked side 1 stacked album here.
Oh, of course.
Closer on side 1 of this album.
And then there's Fighting Windmills.
Which is the second song on side 2, which is the same for you.
And then we come across Faded Jeans.
Which is not
on there. Yeah. And then there's Time's Up, which is the same closer on both sides.
But the opening song on this album is brilliant, and it's called a 6-minute song called I Need Love.
Yes.
Once again, it would never appear on any other Golden Earring album. It does appear. They did at least add it to the box set, the CD box set a few years ago in the extras section.
Yes. But Mad Love's Coming is definitely in my top 5, 3, whatever Golden Earring songs.
Mad Love's Coming on the guitar all the time.
I try to play that all the time.
I worked so hard on memorizing that solo at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm just happy I know the main riff, Anthony.
Okay,
that's a lot. That's a lot of sliding there.
Then we had the Golden Earring Live, which of course went up to Mad Love's Coming.
Yes.
And it did have a 10-minute version, a chopped down version of 8 Miles High, 10-minute version.
Yeah.
Which led into Vanilla Queen. So that second side of this live. I mean, the performance here is absolutely spectacular. I would have loved to have seen that tour.
I know
the recording wasn't the best. It's a little bit hollow, the recording.
We got robbed on live concerts. All right. Sorry, everyone.
Okay, so after Mad Love's Coming, after Golden Earring Live came Grab It for a Second.
Okay. Now, has this one seen a reissue either?
Nope, has never seen.
No.
Never seen a reissue. It didn't do very well here, I know, in Toronto.
No.
It was only released in a few record stores. I really like it. Cell 29 was a favorite of mine. Grab It for a Second. Leather,
Grab It for a Second. Yeah. Leather.
Songs on here, but they don't play hardly any of this thing live, I don't think.
No. It's a good album, and there must be something with those early, this mid-period track record MCA stuff.
It was 1978.
Because they don't have problems with the Polydor stuff, but I don't know if it's this track and MCA or on their recordings that are just being assholes about it, but these aren't being released on reissues, and I don't know why. But that's worthy of a reissue, and so is Mad Love or Contraband or Mad Love.
Yeah. So then after that, we'd go to 1979, I believe it, or 8. Yeah, 1979, and No Promises, No Debts. And I hope you got the Canadian one there.
I do.
With the crappy cover.
I love this album.
I do too.
But
It's funny, when I first bought this album, I didn't like it a whole lot, but it grew on me and grew on me.
which one do you have? You have a Polydor pressing, do you not?
This is a original German Polydor pressing.
By the way, if you see me looking this way, Anthony, I have you on my big screen because my eyes are too bad to see my phone.
This is the original first pressing from Europe. I, of course,
Yeah.
the front cover ended up being the back cover on your album.
And how shitty is this cover?
And that's just an absolute crap cover.
Like, I wouldn't buy this if
exactly.
I saw. Like,
I think that cover probably hindered its sales here.
Yeah.
Because after that album that you're holding there came out, there would be no more Golden Earring in Canada until Cut. The next two albums that came out never were released in Canada until Cut. This album kind of killed them in Canada, but it's
a little bit, yeah. All right, so let's do these.
It has a different track listing. If you hold up yours,
oh, hang on, let's get to it.
Is mixed up.
Yeah.
So side one starts with Heartbeat.
Yeah.
Need Her.
Yeah.
Selling Out.
Yeah.
It's Not Love in Spain.
It's Not Love in Spain, yeah.
Save Your Skin.
Yeah, that's the same on this one.
Okay, but now look at side two. Track one, D-Light.
Yeah, this is Weekend Love.
Yeah. Followed by Tiger Bay.
And then D-Light here.
Then Weekend Love.
And then Tiger Bay on this one.
Then Don't Close the Door.
That's the same.
Don't Stop the Show.
Yeah, that's the same. And By Routes.
And By Routes. See, D-Light was supposed to start the side. Why they around the Canadian one?
It makes no sense. Makes no sense. So, especially side twos, Anthony. It's not like people are going to judge on the first side alone.
No promises, no debts. Will grow on you. It's a great spin.
Yeah. Okay, hang on 1 second. Actually, if you can show the next one, Anthony, I just got to grab something.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one, people, if you're all still with us here, the next one.
I hope you are.
The next two albums would never be released in Canada at all. And they were The Prisoner. Or no, what's it called? Prisoner of the Night. Prisoner of the Night. The Prisoner.
Yeah.
Prisoner of the Night, which is a fabulous album, which spawned one really big song called Long Blonde Animal.
Yeah. And what version is yours?
Also, the title track, Prisoner of the Night, was fantastic.
Okay, so what version is yours, Anthony?
Mine's an MOV.
From 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the version I have.
Yeah, because it was never. This is the only version you can find because it was never released in Canada. You know.
So there has to be something. It has to be something with the Trax MCA label, because now it goes solely to Polydor again, and these could be reissued. It's just that middle period that music on vinyl just can't get the license on, and it drives me crazy. Because you got Long Blonde Animal, which is amazing, right? I like this album a lot, and the cover is fantastic, I think.
Yeah, I really like that album. Prisoner of the Night, one of my favorite Golden Earring songs again. And you would only hear it on the second live album. So that album would never be released in Canada at all.
Nope.
And then the next album also never came to Canada at all. And I actually have a original foreign pressing of it because it's the only way I could find it. And this is an original OG foreign pressing of Second Live. Also, would never be released in Canada. I think it's better recorded than the first live. It definitely has better sound quality, but I don't think the song selection is as good. But
the song selection isn't as good, no.
The one good thing about the song selection is that they would do songs that weren't on the first live. So the two of them would give you completely different. It's not like a lot of live albums that keep repeating the same songs on every.
No, it's like Kiss Alive 1 and Kiss Alive 2. They decided consciously not to put the same songs on any of the same songs on Alive 2. So in and around that same era, but they had the good. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but they had the.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
So those two albums never got to the shore here in Canada.
No.
But then comes and if you read their biography, which is in the CD box set.
Yeah.
If you read the book in there, which has a very detailed accounting of every album and everything they're going through, they were ready to pack it in. They were starving. Yeah. They were almost homeless. After No Promises, No Debts, they got a little bit of money on Prisoner of the Night, and the second live didn't do well. They were on their last legs. They were living in hard times in a house in the middle of nowhere, and they would record their next album really budget in a homemade studio basically, and it was basically their last ditch effort. The radio company,
and it was hard for them.
Said to them, "We're going to let you make one more album. If it doesn't fly, you're done."
Yeah,
and
they
would release.
They had a. I was going to say they had a tough time even touring here, Anthony, because they weren't drawing any crowds, and they could. Hence why they're not making any money, right?
So yeah,
so
they took a gamble. It was their last ditch effort before they were going to pack it in and release Cut, which
and also
it exploded like Moontan.
This was the introduction of 21 Records, who was putting them out.
They were the company that took the chance on them.
Yes, and they had a deal with Polygram, oddly enough, and then they did the song of their lifetime that saved their ass. You know,
Twilight Zone.
They did Twilight Zone, which is.
I love this whole album. This is a brilliant album. Songwriting is fantastic.
And the album version of
synthetic drum, the syndromes that Cesar started.
Yes,
the syndromes in them.
But this was, if you listen to, a lot of people might not know this or anything, but Twilight Zone, the album version is very long.
Yeah, another 8 minutes.
In fact, I have the 12-inch single for this, and it says extended version, which is just the album version. They tried to play it off like a dance version, but it's not. But if you look, you can tell they didn't see Twilight Zone as the hit because they buried it on side 2. If you notice that. And then The Devil Made Me Do It was the first track. So obviously Polydor or Polygram or 20 Records thought that was the hit. And then someone at 21 or Polygram said, no, Twilight Zone's the hit. And that's what came out. And then The Devil Made Me Do It came out as...
was the second single to be released from it.
Yeah. But you can tell when they bury a song on side 2 on a last ditch effort album, I don't think anyone thought that was the single.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, because it wasn't recorded to be a single. I mean, it's 8-minute songs. Not too many 8-minute songs got turned into singles.
Yeah, but they did a brilliant edit on it, and it saved their asses.
But that fantastic album, Future, Last of the Mohicans, Lost and Found, Charging Up My Battery Secrets. This is an absolutely great spin.
But this is one of those albums you can find anywhere for $5. Give it a try if you don't know it. Obviously, everyone kind of knows it, but great album.
As we talked about earlier in the video, it was quickly followed up by News, otherwise known as North, East, West, and South.
Now, I wonder if they rushed this album too hard or too fast, actually.
Very commercial.
Because Cut was 82 and this is 84, so they had 2 years in between, but I'm sure they toured a lot of that.
But it was definitely written and recorded in the mold of Cut.
But having said that, Mission Impossible.
Fantastic Mission Impossible. Absolutely.
That's my favorite song on here. Then you got AGK when the Lady Smiles and Clear Night Moonlight. There's 3 bona fide golden earring classics on here.
Absolutely.
Clear Night Moonlight, When the Lady Smiles, and Mission Impossible.
Yeah, but I really I'll Make It All Up to You as well. Even Fist and Glove wasn't bad. Fist and Glove was almost a punk rocker.
And NEWS was released as a single, I believe. But what an odd song that is.
Yeah.
Very odd song.
Very, very synth drum heavy song and keyboard. Hardly any guitar work in it.
Yeah.
It was a real synth. It was kind of a synth pop song.
It's very a lot of triggered syndromes on these ones, but very good album. And it's like another one like Cut that you can find anywhere because it came off the back of Cut, and you can find these anywhere for $5 on vinyl, on used vinyl.
I had to quickly pull one more that I didn't pull. So following News, of course, with
something
the big explosion on MTV.
Yeah.
Of the News album and the Cut album.
And there's something heavy.
We rushed out a live performance called Heavy Going Down.
Which I find very
right here, as seen and heard on Golden Earrings concert on MTV, and this is an original promo.
Yeah, and I watched it on MTV too, and it's better as a.
This is an original gold stamp promo.
Yeah, I can see that by the hype sticker, but it was an original. But that I think that's better as a live document than an audio document.
And it's a shame that they didn't put the whole concert on this.
I know
Single disc
they
one, but they only chose songs. And it's funny that all the songs that they chose on here to release were from Cut and News, except for Long Blonde Animal, which opened it, which had not
and Radar Love.
North America.
And Radar Love's on there too.
Yeah, so and Radar Love, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, I have mixed feelings about that album.
But
I'm not that hyped about it.
Of course, it had one single on here, one studio track, Something's Heavy Going Down.
Heavy's Going Down, yeah, which is okay for a
single. Now the MTV performance of this, you can actually get
on DVD. Can you not?
Get it right here in the 50th anniversary album CD that came a couple of years ago. This is a 3 CD collection that goes through their entire career.
I have that.
Another collection that goes through their entire career, but it also includes the DVD of that MTV performance on it.
It's a good I think it works better as a live concert than it does just a pure audio concert.
So yeah, the main reason I got this was for the DVD of the MTV performance, because if you watch the drum solo in this performance, it is unreal, because he starts off playing drums, then he gets up and he's playing the Sin drums, then he has this suit that he's wired up, that he stands on top of his drum kit and starts beating his chest, and he's got microphones all in the suit, and he starts beating his chest.
Yeah, drum pads in there.
It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and also I think and the band was at its best looking. They were slicked up. They were MTV looking. They were looking fine as a band, and
very 80s looking with the hairdos and everything.
They have the perm.
Like Duran or something hitting the stage.
But that was the time, and good for them for
smoking guitar solos, bass solos, drum solos.
Yeah, good for them, because they made it big again. And honestly, I don't think they compromised on the music. I think the look was different, but I don't think there was any compromise on the music.
So then after that, let's get a move on here to go quick. Was the Hole, which would be the last album that Canada would see from Golden Earring. They would basically not have any more albums released in Canada again. This would be the last album in Canada, The Hole, which I love. Yeah,
which I'll be quick about here. I'll
let Dave do this one.
Quiet Eyes is my favorite Golden Earring song of all time. And I think if I talked about this already, the video is on. I talked about the video already. That was kind of a video hit, but the album just bombed. It just bombed, and the band didn't like it. And there's a good story on their website about how the producer just screwed this album up. And
the drums in that were completely synthesized drums. Caesar did not play any.
But like I said, they had one good song come out of this, and that was Quiet Eyes.
I do like the album, though. I mean, I really do like that album. I think
I need to listen to it again. But
they danced with good. Save the Best Later was good.
Yeah.
Jane. Why Do I was a great track.
But they had a 3-album deal, I think, with
I think that's what it was. Cut, News, and The Hole was there.
And the Hole, that was the one that kind of sank them, because then they were back into no distro in North America again.
Exactly, and they would just continue from that point on.
Yeah.
I just realized you got Floyd pants. I got Floyd shirt today. What?
I got my
what the heck?
What do you call these? I got my jammy pants on early today.
So
it's snowing.
After The Hole, they would go to Virgin Records and be revived on Virgin Records in 89. 89, they would hit Virgin Records with Keeper of the Flame.
Yeah.
An album that never came here, and it's a great album. And this is an original European press of that album.
And the funny thing is, this is why I'm going to tell everyone, don't trust online reviews. People, they'll look up that album, Anthony, and they'll look it up just to see what it's about. And at least some North American reviewer doesn't understand the band, and all the period that you're going to come up to right now.
North America
generally gets.
How can you talk about it never came to you?
But you look at all music reviews and whatnot. They at Wikipedia, and they get middling reviews for this whole middle period, and You know what? Streaming is next to free nowadays. Stream it. Make up your own mind, because I don't trust reviewers
make
to
up your
save my
own
life.
because at this point they had dropped their prog rock. They were moving in
Yeah.
direction. They were trying to stay in the modern rock, and I like this album. They're much more
Yeah.
modern rock sounding album, typical 80s
Yeah.
rock. At this point, they always evolved their sound. Always evolved their sound.
Always. Yeah.
Keeper of the Flame, which was then followed by Bloody Buccaneers.
Oh, where's my Bloody Buccaneers? Hang on, because that
Bloody Buccaneers.
I didn't pull mine on that one. Damn it, it's in that box. But
which I did once in Canada on CD and a CD bin once in Canada.
That was released in North America, Anthony, because I ran a record store then, and I used to order it, unless it was on imports. But you could get it.
Yeah.
Because they signed at that time. They signed to CBS.
CD. I never saw it on vinyl.
But that's on CBS Records now. They were on, at least in.
Yeah, this was on Columbia.
And Columbia gave them another kick at the can. And I think if most people will agree that is a kind of a comeback album.
Yeah, and I like this album. It's a really good album. Making Love.
It's really. There's a reason why it sold as many copies as it did in Europe, and it did pretty well here as well. I think it charted actually, but not very high.
Going for the Run, One Shot Away from Paradise, Pouring My Heart.
It's a good rockin' album.
Good rockin' album, absolutely. And this is early '90s when they were competing with grunge and all the the end of hair metal and grunge. And these guys came back and just rocked their socks off once again.
And you know what? That's a very highly regarded album among fans and other people. And I would say if you want to sample that middling period, that we're talking about now. No, it's not middling. It's kind of later period now. Bloody Buccaneers. Damn good album to sample.
Then we have in 1994, this was just Face It. I always forget the name.
Face It.
Yeah. Face It. An interesting album.
Yeah.
A little more acoustic on it but it did have some great songs like Liquid Soul.
Yeah.
Minute by Minute. Johnny Make Believe, very popular in their live sets. They play
Johnny Make Believe's a very popular song live.
Yeah. So another great song. Oh, and Legalized Telepathy was also very popular in their later live sets.
Yeah. I think that's one of those that's on Columbia too, on Sony Music, I believe. But
Sony Music, Columbia picked up this album. I think Columbia Music had a 3-record deal with them as well at that point. But
I think they kind of were trying to morph again and change their sound up again.
Exactly. But I don't mind this album. It's got some good tracks on it. Strong.
It's okay. Yeah.
Then we're going to 1990, and I like this next album. I really like.
Are we in Love Sweat now?
1995, Love Sweat.
Love Sweat.
Which was their covers album.
Yes.
It was their album of covers.
Which, like I said, I'll tell you, there's a reviewer on Wikipedia that just slates this album. They do some damn good covers on this album. It's a really good album.
And When I Was Young, Eric Burdon.
When I Was Young, yeah, that's a good cover.
Odyssey Jane, My Little Red Book, Sail on Sailor, Beach Boys,
yeah.
There you go, Beetle Boy, Sail on Sailor, a really great version of Sail on Sailor.
Yeah.
Motorbike and I'll Be Back Again. This Wheels on Fire.
This Wheels on Fire is a damn good version on that one.
Damn good version. Bell Thin and Collage, Move Over. We all know Move Over, famous song. Move Over.
Yeah.
Who Do You Love? Another
good one too.
A good one. And then Turn the Page.
Yeah. I'll Turn the Page. There you go.
Album. I really like this album. I think it was a good it was time for them to do something like this.
Yeah. They took a break, allowed him to, do some of their favorite songs.
Music, once again, Sony Music. And that was probably part of their deal with Sony.
Yeah, because Sony also had one of my favorite albums coming up here. So go ahead. After Love Sweat.
After Love Sweat, we had, sort of in between. I don't know if I might have missed one, but they did some more live work.
Yes, which I want to talk about briefly.
Yeah, you started talking about it while I just grab it, because they did.
No,
we're talking about
the
Naked series.
We're talking about the Naked Truth albums, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the one that came out of Music and Vinyl.
Yeah,
this is
called the complete edition.
This is a triple vinyl, and there's been different variances of this album on CD. I have at least 3 different versions of this on CD. One is a complete, all 3. One's the first 2, and one is the regular standard version.
I've got that version as this. On CD, it was like that, one, and then they released Naked 2.
Yeah.
But actually, Naked 2 and Naked 1 are on that LP. They're blended together.
Yes.
They're blended
And
together
this
LP, because this was the first came out, and then they threw this together, which was all the songs that were cut from this.
Yeah.
Basically.
And this album did really, really well in Europe.
And I really like these acoustic.
It actually did okay. I remember when I was running record stores, I sold a few copies of this one for sure. And this album did incredibly well in Europe. It charted very high, especially in Holland. I think it went #1.
And there's the original PAL DVD of the film of the concert.
Yes, which is an odd little film, isn't it?
It's an odd little film, but it's a great, it's a great performance to see them all sitting down with their instruments.
Yeah, and just playing.
Rhinus is playing a stand-up double bass.
Yeah, and it's very different from the unplugged thing that a lot of bands do. It was even more stripped down than most unplugged concerts. But amazing versions on this album of songs. I don't think there's a song on here, Anthony, that was not as good, if not better, than the originals, because I think they just did.
Yeah, I think they did a fantastic job with 6-string acoustic guitars recreating some of these great electric guitar solos and stuff.
And acoustic drums and
job of rewriting the musical pieces and making them into what they did.
Yeah, highly, highly, highly recommended from me.
So then after that, there would be a Naked 3, but it comes a little bit later.
That comes a little bit later, yes.
After that comes an album that I know David's not a big fan of, but I really like. And then they'd moved to Universal at this point. And
yes.
It is called Paradise in Distress. And this was made in 1999.
What number do you have?
I have 770.
I have 95.
I know. Lucky you.
Oh, of an album that I'm not that fond of.
Yeah, he's not fond of it, but I really like this album. I really like the song The Fighter. Really, one of my favorite songs of theirs.
There's a couple good songs on here, but as a whole, it's not one of my favorites.
And
I'm not saying it's...
And of course, this album was recorded in the CD format. So when they released this album, it wasn't your usual 45 minutes. This was a full, 80-minute CD, because they decided to record to a full format. So this is on vinyl, but it's the only way they can do it on triple.
And I think that's part of the downfall of this album, is that, and a lot of bands did this at the time, they wanted to fill up a full CD, so they put lesser material instead of having just a very tight 35-minute album like they did in the 70s and the 80s. People felt the need to fill up a full 75-minute CD or 80-minute CD.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was some really material that shouldn't have made it on.
So after that was released in 1999, December 31st, 1999, right before the stroke of midnight and the new millennium, they did a live show in their home country, which I could show you the CD version of here, but I won't.
Yeah, I got my CD over there.
This is the video of the concert here. It was called Last Blast of the Century. This is the video performance of it.
And what a concert.
And what a concert. It ended. Their concert literally went to the stroke of midnight. And they go through their whole career, an over, almost a 2.5 hour show. And it is coming out very soon on vinyl for the first time. And Dave and I are scrambling to try finding it.
We're nervous about it. But would you not agree that
we're stressing about it? There's only 1,000 copies being pressed. So
would you agree that's their finest recorded document? Is Last Blast? That's
why I have to have that album.
That is the best recorded audio concert. It's the best video concert they've ever done. Hands down.
Hands down. Hands down. I totally agree on that statement.
Yeah. Just amazing.
So after Last Blast, they would release.
Are we up to Millbrook?
I'm just checking Naked 3 if it was before or after Millbrook.
I only have the super audio version of that one, actually. I don't SACD. I don't have the vinyl.
Yeah, it's after. So next one would be Millbrook. Millbrook, USA, and the title from that, Millbrook, USA, was from where they recorded this album.
The album.
That's where they recorded, in Millbrook, USA.
I remember Universal, Anthony, when I was running a record store, Universal Records. I think this was an import, but they offered it in their release sheets, and
Yeah,
I
I saw
ordered it.
import CD only.
But it was like you could easily order it. It wasn't something that was hard to find
No,
because
no,
mine came in just after release date on CD at my record store. So your thoughts on Millbrook,
I
USA?
like Hammer Can Fall. The Hammer of no, the Hammer of Love.
Hammer
I
of
like
Love,
Up
Hammer of
on the
Love.
Moon. Great. It's a good album. It's different. It's got a lot of acoustic work on it.
Very different.
Very different. I think they needed to go different to recapture. We're talking 2003 here, so they
Yeah,
need to compete with the bands that were coming out in 2003. So once again, their sound evolved again.
yeah.
From
But,
Mill would then come 2005, which is yet to be released on vinyl. This is one of the last that has never been released on vinyl.
yeah,
Is the Naked 3.
yeah.
In
And
2000,
like I said,
Naked 3, yet another acoustic performance in the
and I said
spirit.
I have that on SACD, and it's really great sounding. I don't think it was recorded to sound great, but it's a very good recording, which I think you have as well. You have the SACD there.
Yeah, I have the SACD as well.
Yeah.
I
So
think
no vinyl for that one yet.
it was the only way it was released.
Yeah.
So that was 2005.
Yeah.
Then Cesar in 2000. Shortly after that, Cesar would break his back.
Yeah.
The drummer would break his back, and the band would go on hiatus. They did not want to perform with another drummer or record with another drummer. And Cesar would spend quite a few years recuperating after major back surgery.
Yeah.
And then they would return 7 years later in 2012 with Tits and Ass.
Tits and Ass. What's your feeling on that one?
I really like this. I really like this album.
I know you like it a lot. I'm kind of mixed.
I like. There's what was it? Still got the keys to my first Cadillac.
That's a
My
good song.
favorite song on this is Stratosphere. Absolutely,
Yeah,
Stratosphere. It's probably falls into that category like Paradise and Distress of recording
too many
to a
songs.
longer format, and maybe that would have been better as a 45-minute album.
Like I said, like in the 70s, they did a tight
I can understand
35.
because they were returning after 7 years, so they wanted to put as much music as they could out.
They probably had a lot of material, but
they had a lot of material. But I like bits and pieces on this album, and it's a great cover.
I think it's a great cover. I think half of it's really good, and half of it's kind of
yeah.
shouldn't have been on there.
Or a Golden Earring Completists, yeah, you need it.
Yeah.
And then after that would be their final. It's maybe not their final album. 2015's The Hague.
The Hague.
They go back to where they started and record at The Hague, where they recorded their very first album. They would go back to the exact same studio that they recorded their first album in and make this 5-song EP, which is actually really good. Oh, Enderman. This 5-song EP.
I think they have another album in them.
Oh, I think
so.
Too.
But if it ends with the Hague, I'm fine with that. The Hague was really good.
But then, of course, coming along 2019, their 50th anniversary, and November they dropped this single.
Yeah, hang on here.
Which is absolutely fantastic.
I won't stop until I find it.
Yeah,
they would drop this single, Say When, in 2019.
And that was Record Store Day too. No, was it Record? Yeah, it was Record Store.
It's limited though. It's on a gold and a limited with a remaster of Back Home.
And this has a really awesome spindle, doesn't it?
Yes.
I'm not sure if yours is. I'll open mine here because I might as well just.
The Record Store Day Radar Love, which I just got on the first drop of Record Store Day, also has that same spindle on it.
But if you look at it, it's got a spindle. Yes, big deal, but it's golden earring written all over it. If you can see the logo on the center spot.
Snap-in spindles. And this Radar Love from the first drop of Record Store Day has the same little spindle on it.
And I'm still looking for that one.
Record Store Radar Love has both versions. It has the full-length album version on one side, and then the single version on the other side.
So I'm looking for that one, everyone. I just haven't picked it up yet. I'll pick it up.
And then other than that, the only other thing I'll show is back in the early 70s, I believe 1972, Barry
Oh, you snake.
would
I was going to talk about this one, you snake. You go ahead.
You do it. You know more about it than me because it was you showing that got me to buy it. I didn't know it existed until you showed it.
Yeah. This, I think, is the greatest Golden Earring album that was never really released under the name Golden Earring. It's Barry Hay solo album, and it's called Only Parrots and Frogs, and Only Parrots, Frogs, and Angels. Sorry. It's available on music on vinyl. I think you can still find the vinyl fairly inexpensively. Originals, forget about it.
Because Barry Hay does all of the artwork and lyrics. Everything you see on the cover, Barry Hay himself. He wrote it all. He painted the cover, everything.
An original copy goes for a ton of money. But who cares? Because the music on vinyl pressing is amazing. And I've got to tell you right now, give me a second here. There's songs 1 and 2, Xena, and sometimes 3 times. 2 of the best songs that aren't Golden Earring songs.
And then in 2000, and there is a George Coyman's album.
There is. Very much so.
That's a grail for me. I'm searched high and low for that George Coyman solo album.
Yeah, I see it on CD, Anthony, all the time. Not all the time, but frequently. I just don't see vinyl versions here very often.
Yeah, I'd like to hear it. I haven't heard it or nothing, and I'd like to get it.
If I can find the CD, I'll send it to you.
So in 2016, Barry Hay would return again to another solo album, and it's this one right here, which hasn't been released on vinyl yet, as far as I know.
No, it's not.
Flying V Formation, another great rocker, and of course, once again, he did the cover art once again, and he did all the little liner notes.
Looks like a Nintendo game.
Yeah, all the little liner notes inside the book. Barry Hay once again.
Surprisingly good album. Very surprisingly good album.
Really good spin. Barry Hay's Flying V Formation. Great spin.
Yeah.
I hope somebody really puts it on vinyl one day.
I hope so too. I mean, I don't know why MOV doesn't, but they might.
And then for all you guys that have been watching and sticking with us through all this, if you want to get the Golden Earring catalog real quick, this box right here, which now goes for a lot more. So if you can find one for like 120, 150, grab it, because these are now worth about $300. This is the complete Golden Earring library, 26 studio albums, all with their little album covers, as you can see, all with their
miniature vinyl covers.
Miniature vinyl covers, the entire studio catalog right up to The Hague, plus 3 CDs of all their singles and B-sides.
And some unreleased material for sure.
Some unreleased material, and a book chronicling their their biography.
And if you look around, you can get that for $100, $120, and well worth every single penny you hung up on vinyl.
Get their entire studio catalog, and that in 2016, I'm thinking. Yeah, 2016, and then the year later or 2 years later, they would release this one.
Complete video. Is it
the complete live
one? Sorry.
But same idea, comes in this packing crate for concerts.
Which for me isn't that. To me, that's not that essential.
A live, second live, something heavy down, and the Naked albums. And those are Blast of the Century.
Yeah.
Being there. And then a bonus DVD, bonus CD of unreleased live material.
Which is fantastic.
So you can have
that one's fun.
And this one's less than 100. So for all you guys that are, want to do it the easy way, just buy these 2 boxes and you've got the entire Golden Earring library.
Yeah. Like I said,
other than that single I released last year.
And for the uninitiated, honestly, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it because I do it all the time now. The quickest way is give it a stream. Give it a quick stream, flick through, see if you like it, and then, this is if you're on the fence, obviously. If you're on the fence, give it a stream. See what, if you like it, and then you can track down the vinyl or the CD or the box set, which is absolutely incredible. But it's not going to cost you anything just to sample these albums nowadays, but just support the band and buy the physical releases once you decide,
Yeah, and the last one I'm going to show is that one there. Another concert DVD.
Yeah.
Called Golden Earring live in Ahoy, 2006. This is just one of the last concerts they did before Cesar broke his back. I mean, he's all healed now and he plays just as great as he ever did.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But fabulous performance, and this particular DVD came with a music CD as well.
Yes.
So you get the music CD and the DVD. The DVD has a couple extra songs because they had to sacrifice a couple songs for time-wise.
Yeah.
But still, great to have.
Awesome.
Our Golden Earring discussion. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Thank you if anyone hung in. If you watched this on a replay, thank you very much. I got to get going, Anthony, right away because I have to go back to a doctor appointment.
Yeah, I think we went longer. I didn't think it would take us as long as it did to go through the whole Golden Earring catalog.
I thought it would take us longer.
Robert.
So if you want to bring in the other people, I'm going to have to say goodbye to everyone because I got to get dressed and I got to head down to appointments. But yeah, Anthony, thank you for having this.
This one, I'm sorry to the guests that couldn't wait as long. Like I said, I didn't think we were going to go as long as we did, but we really wanted to do this show together. We've been talking about doing this particular show for months and months and months.
And when you archive this one on YouTube, I hope you kind of maybe put a different title, Golden Earring, Discography, or something, because that will attract viewers from other countries.
Nazz and AGK Talk Golden Earring or something.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. If you're watching this in the replay, thanks a lot. I have to get going. So thank you, Anthony. We've been talking about this for a long time to do this Golden Earring thing.
Absolutely.
So we finally did it. It only took us a year.
Only took us a year. And it took us almost 2 hours to go through the catalog, which I didn't think. When I talked to you last night, I was like, well, it would take us an hour.
Was that 2 hours? That's not 2 hours, was it?
2 hours.
I don't have a clock down here, so I don't know.
Almost.
Wow, that's insane.
So there you go, people. For those who don't know Golden Earring, look at all.
Thank you, everyone.
Look at all these.
And thank you, Anthony. I got to get going, so take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Anybody?
All right.
And I'll put the link up, but I might end it with this Golden Earring discussion. So I might end it here. I know Robert. I had asked Robert and Glenn to come on, but like I said, we had expected to only go an hour on this discussion, and it went longer. But I'm happy with it. I'm happy, and we'll do another live stream. If there's anybody that does want to come on briefly, I will entertain other people coming on. Otherwise, I will end this stream, and we will call it I'll just repost it as a Golden Earring discussion. I hope you all enjoyed it. Anybody out there wants to come on, just say so in the bottom here quickly. Otherwise, I might just end the stream at a Golden Earring discussion. Because I know that Glenn, I had asked Glenn if they wanted to come on, they're welcome to. They knew ahead of time that Nazz and I were going to be having a discussion for the first hour or so. So they knew that ahead of time. So if Glenn's still around or Robert's still around, they're welcome to join. If not, I will probably end the stream here and as a Golden Earring stream. Something I've talked about in other streams on other channels. But David and I are both huge Golden Earring fans, so I figured what better way to talk about them than to go with another expert on the subject, and maybe the two of us could inspire some of you people to try out this incredible band that has released such a massive catalog of material and has been the original 4 members, one of the only bands in the entire world that has kept 4 members for over 50 years. And I hope you all enjoyed. And tune in for my next live stream and my next video. Tomorrow's Record Store Day, people. So I might do a vlog of my Record Store Day pickups tomorrow and post that. And we'll call it there. It is now, almost 5 o'clock. And we started the stream at 3. Thank you for those that came and watched. And for those of you that are watching the replay, I hope you enjoyed the replay. Don't forget to follow David Michael, Nazz Nomad, on his YouTube channel, which is, just look him up, Nazz Nomad. You can follow him on Instagram at Nazz Nomad as well. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at AGK_Lifetime of Vinyl, where I try to post my spin of the day every day. Hope y'all enjoyed it. And watch for my next regular video. Like I said, I might post one tomorrow when I do my vlog for Record Store Day. We'll see what happens. But I think I'm going to save this video as my golden earring discussion video, and we'll just retitle it and we'll call it, golden earring, the golden earring catalog. So everything and anything you wanted to know about golden earring, or maybe didn't want to know about golden earring. And I will see you all guys, see everybody very, very soon in a video or live stream once again. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.